Neon tubing has been a favored choice for framing storefront windows due to its striking and adaptable qualities. However, there has been a rise in limitations on its use in recent years. There are several reasons for these restrictions. Firstly, safety concerns. Neon gas is an inert gas, but when electrified, it generates a high voltage and can pose a fire hazard if not installed and maintained properly. Secondly, energy consumption. Neon tubing is relatively energy intensive compared to other lighting alternatives. Thirdly, light pollution. Neon lighting can contribute to light pollution, which can disrupt nighttime ecosystems and negatively impact human sleep patterns. Fourthly, aesthetic concerns. Some argue that neon tubing is visually obtrusive and can detract from the overall streetscape. Restrictions on neon tubing can vary based on the specific jurisdiction and local regulations. Some common types of restrictions include height limitations, where some cities limit the height of neon signs installed above ground level. Wattage restrictions are also imposed, restricting the maximum wattage of neon tubing allowed in a single sign. Location restrictions may prohibit neon signs in particular areas such as historic districts or residential neighborhoods. Design restrictions could mandate that neon signs adhere to specific design standards regarding size, shape, and color. Permitting requirements may necessitate obtaining a permit from the local government before installing a neon sign. If neon tubing is not a feasible option due to these restrictions, numerous alternatives exist that provide similar visual appeal and functionality. One alternative is LED neon. LED neon is a low-voltage, energy-efficient substitute for traditional neon. It offers a comparable vibrant glow without the associated safety and energy concerns. Another option is rope lighting. Rope lighting comprises flexible plastic tubing housing LED bulbs, and it is easily shaped and installed, providing a more diffuse light than neon. Fluorescent tubes represent a more conventional option that offers good brightness and color. Incandescent bulbs are another classic choice but are less energy efficient than other options. Business owners who fail to comply with the restrictions on neon tubing may face penalties, such as fines or the required removal of the sign. It is crucial to research local regulations and obtain necessary permits to avoid any issues. The high voltage aspect of neon signs presents several safety concerns. The transformers used to power neon signs can output voltages ranging from 2000 volts to 15,000 volts, depending on the length and diameter of the tubing. This high voltage is necessary to ionize the neon gas and create the characteristic glow. However, this voltage level can be lethal if contact is made with exposed wiring or faulty components. Proper insulation and grounding are crucial to prevent electrical shock hazards. Neon sign installation should always be performed by qualified electricians who are familiar with high voltage wiring techniques. Regular inspections should be conducted to identify and repair any damaged or deteriorated wiring, transformers, or electrodes. Another safety concern arises from the potential for fire. While neon gas itself is non-flammable, the high-voltage electricity used to power the signs can ignite nearby combustible materials if a fault occurs. Transformers should be installed in well-ventilated areas to prevent overheating, and they should be protected from moisture and physical damage. Overcurrent protection devices, such as fuses or circuit breakers, should be installed in the power supply circuit to protect against short circuits and overloads. Neon signs should not be installed near flammable materials, such as paper, fabric, or wood. The glass tubing used in neon signs is also susceptible to breakage, which can release neon gas into the surrounding environment. While neon gas is not toxic, it can displace oxygen and create a suffocation hazard in enclosed spaces. Broken glass can also pose a cutting hazard. To mitigate these risks, neon signs should be installed in locations where they are not likely to be struck by objects or subjected to physical stress. Protective barriers or enclosures can be used to prevent accidental contact with the tubing. When replacing or disposing of neon signs, the gas should be safely vented to the atmosphere in a well-ventilated area. The components should be disposed of properly in accordance with local regulations. From an energy consumption perspective, neon signs are significantly less efficient than modern lighting technologies such as LED. The process of ionizing neon gas and producing light is inherently inefficient, with a large portion of the electrical energy being converted into heat rather than light. Traditional neon signs typically consume between 20 and 50 watts per foot of tubing, depending on the diameter and color of the tubing. This energy consumption can add up quickly, especially for large storefront signs that operate for extended periods. In contrast, LED neon signs consume only a fraction of the energy of traditional neon signs, typically around 5 to 10 watts per foot. LED technology is also more efficient at converting electricity into light, resulting in less heat generation and a longer lifespan. By switching to LED neon, businesses can significantly reduce their energy consumption and lower their electricity bills. Light pollution is another growing concern associated with neon signs, particularly in urban areas. The bright, unfiltered light emitted by neon signs can contribute to sky glow, which is the brightening of the night sky caused by artificial light. Sky glow can obscure the stars and planets, making it difficult to observe the night sky. It can also disrupt the natural rhythms of wildlife, such as birds and insects, which rely on darkness for navigation and reproduction. Light pollution can also affect human health by suppressing the production of melatonin, a hormone that regulates sleep cycles. To minimize light pollution, some jurisdictions have implemented regulations that limit the brightness, size, and operating hours of neon signs. Shielding can be used to direct the light downward and prevent it from escaping into the sky. Dimming controls can be used to reduce the brightness of the signs during off-peak hours. Color temperature is also a factor in light pollution. Cool white light, which has a high blue content, is more likely to scatter in the atmosphere and contribute to sky glow. Warm white light, which has a low blue content, is less likely to cause light pollution. From an aesthetic perspective, the use of neon signs can be a contentious issue. Some people find neon signs to be visually appealing and iconic, adding character and vibrancy to urban landscapes. Others view them as garish and intrusive, detracting from the architectural beauty of buildings and the overall streetscape. The aesthetic impact of neon signs depends on several factors, including the design, size, color, and location of the sign. A well-designed neon sign that is appropriately scaled and located can enhance the visual appeal of a building and attract customers. However, a poorly designed or excessively bright neon sign can be visually distracting and create a negative impression. Some jurisdictions have implemented design guidelines that regulate the appearance of neon signs, ensuring that they are compatible with the surrounding architecture and streetscape. These guidelines may specify the size, shape, color, and materials of the signs, as well as their placement in the building. The use of neon signs in historic districts is often subject to stricter regulations to preserve the character and integrity of the historic buildings. Some jurisdictions require that neon signs in historic districts be designed to replicate the style and materials of the original signs. When considering alternatives to neon tubing, LED neon stands out as the most direct and energy-efficient replacement. LED neon utilizes light-emitting diodes encased in a flexible plastic tube to mimic the appearance of traditional neon signs. However, LED neon offers several advantages over its predecessor. Firstly, it consumes significantly less energy, typically around 70 to 80% less than traditional neon signs. This can result in substantial cost savings over the lifespan of the sign. Secondly, LED neon has a much longer lifespan than traditional neon, typically lasting for 50,000 hours or more. This reduces the need for frequent replacements and lowers maintenance costs. Thirdly, LED neon is more durable and resistant to damage than glass neon tubing. It is less likely to break or shatter, making it a safer option for both indoor and outdoor applications. Fourthly, LED neon is available in a wider range of colors and effects than traditional neon. It can be easily programmed to create dynamic lighting effects such as color changing, fading, and chasing patterns. Rope lighting is another versatile alternative to neon tubing. Rope lighting consists of small incandescent or LED bulbs encased in a flexible plastic tube. It is commonly used for decorative purposes, such as outlining buildings, illuminating walkways, and creating festive displays. Rope lighting is relatively inexpensive and easy to install, making it a popular choice for both residential and commercial applications. However, rope lighting is not as bright or energy efficient as LED neon. It also has a shorter lifespan than LED neon, typically lasting for around 25,000 hours. Fluorescent tubes represent a more traditional lighting option that can be used as an alternative to neon signs. Fluorescent tubes are glass tubes filled with a gas that emits light when electricity is passed through it. They are commonly used for general lighting purposes, such as in offices, schools, and retail stores. Fluorescent tubes are more energy efficient than incandescent bulbs, but they are less efficient than LED lighting. They also contain mercury, which is a hazardous material that requires special disposal procedures. Incandescent bulbs are the oldest and least energy efficient type of lighting. They produce light by heating a filament until it glows. Incandescent bulbs are relatively inexpensive, but they have a very short lifespan, typically lasting for only 1,000 hours. They also generate a lot of heat, which can increase cooling costs. Due to their inefficiency and short lifespan, incandescent bulbs are being phased out in many countries. Regarding compliance and consequences, businesses must be aware of the local regulations governing the use of neon signs. These regulations can vary significantly from one jurisdiction to another. Failure to comply with these regulations can result in fines, penalties, and the removal of the non-compliant sign. Before installing a neon sign, businesses should contact their local government to determine the applicable regulations. They may need to obtain a permit before installing the sign. The permit application may require detailed information about the sign, such as its size, location, design, and electrical specifications. The local government may also inspect the sign to ensure that it complies with all applicable regulations. Businesses should also be aware of any restrictions on the use of neon signs in historic districts or other protected areas. These restrictions may be more stringent than those that apply to other areas. If a business is unsure about the applicable regulations, it should consult with a qualified attorney or signage professional. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, provides comprehensive guidelines for the safe installation of electrical systems, including neon signs. Article 600 of the NEC specifically addresses electric signs and outline requirements for wiring methods, overcurrent protection, grounding, and disconnecting means. Some key NEC requirements for neon sign installations include using listed and labeled equipment. All electrical components used in a neon sign, such as transformers, electrodes, and wiring, must be listed and labeled by a recognized testing laboratory, such as Underwriters Laboratories, or UL. This ensures that the equipment has been tested and meets safety standards. Proper wiring methods must be followed. The wiring for neon signs must be installed in accordance with the NEC requirements for wiring methods. This may include using conduit, cable, or other approved wiring methods. The wiring must be properly sized to handle the current load of the sign. Overcurrent protection must be provided. Neon signs must be protected by overcurrent protection devices, such as fuses or circuit breakers. These devices protect the electrical system from short circuits and overloads. Grounding is critical. Neon signs must be properly grounded to prevent electrical shock hazards. The grounding conductor must be connected to a grounding electrode system that meets the requirements of the NEC. A disconnecting means must be provided. A disconnecting means, such as a switch or circuit breaker, must be provided to disconnect the neon sign from the power supply. This allows for safe maintenance and repair of the sign. High voltage wiring must be properly insulated. The high voltage wiring used to power neon signs must be properly insulated to prevent electrical shock hazards. The insulation must be rated for the voltage level used in the sign. Clearances must be maintained. Neon signs must be installed with adequate clearances from combustible materials and other objects. This prevents the sign from overheating and causing a fire. Sign supports must be adequate. Neon signs must be securely supported to prevent them from falling or collapsing. The supports must be designed to withstand the weight of the sign and any wind or snow loads. Access for servicing must be provided. Neon signs must be installed in a location that provides adequate access for servicing and maintenance. This allows for easy replacement of components and repairs. Compliance with local codes is mandatory. In addition to the NEC requirements, neon sign installations must comply with all applicable local codes and regulations. These codes may include additional requirements for safety and aesthetics. A qualified electrician should be used. Neon sign installation should always be performed by a qualified electrician who is familiar with the NEC requirements and local codes. This ensures that the sign is installed safely and correctly. Regular inspection should be performed. Neon signs should be inspected regularly to identify and repair any damaged or deteriorated components. This helps to prevent electrical shock hazards and fires. Businesses must be aware of these regulations and comply with them to avoid penalties and ensure the safety of their customers and employees. For example, NEC Table 310.15b16 details the allowable ampacities of insulated conductors rated up to and including 2000 volts, based on the temperature rating of the conductor and the ambient temperature. This table helps electricians determine the appropriate size of wiring for a neon sign installation to prevent overheating and ensure safe operation. Also, NEC Section 600.7a requires that neon sign transformers be listed and labeled for use in electric signs. This ensures that the transformers have been tested and meet safety standards. NEC Section 600.10 requires that neon signs be grounded in accordance with Article 250 of the NEC. This helps to prevent electrical shock hazards. And Section 600.21 requires that neon signs be protected by overcurrent protection devices, such as fuses or circuit breakers, sized in accordance with the transformer's current rating. This protects the electrical system from short circuits and overloads. Furthermore, Section 600.5 specifies wiring methods, mandating that conductors be installed in rigid metal conduit, intermediate metal conduit, electrical metallic tubing, flexible metal conduit, or a flexible metal conduit. Proper conductor sizing is also addressed in Section 310.16, coordinating ampacity with temperature ratings. These examples illustrate the importance of adhering to the NEC and other applicable codes and regulations when installing neon signs.